toll road here, and I'm in Portsmouth, Ohio, right at the visitor center here. But we're going to take a walk over to the flood mural wall. Pretty big, pretty long, pretty impressive. It's even bigger and longer and impressive than this one right here. So buckle up, buckaroos. About to take a ride on the toll road. So I thought I'd start right here. That's the U.S. Grant Bridge. There's the Ohio River, and here's the flood wall to keep out them flood waters. You'll see a few murals on this side. Yeah, that's nothing compared to what we're gonna see on the other side. That's the great state of Kentucky right there. Let's get down this hill, start taking a look at those murals. Gonna be a little loud at the beginning. Got some people mowing some grass and blowing it out. That's all right, they got their work to do. Welcome, Portsmouth, Ohio Floodwall murals depicting the history of our city and surrounding area. Internationally acclaimed artist Robert Dafford of Lafayette, Louisiana, been there, was commissioned by Portsmouth Murals Incorporated to design and paint the murals during the 10-year period of 1993 to 2002. Now, Dafford didn't do this by himself. He was assisted by artist Herb Rowe, Doug Dafford, assuming there is some relation there, Benny Graff, my apologies if I'm pronouncing any of these wrong, Chris Condon, John Norris, and Mike Dowdery. The flood wall was built following the 1937 flood, approximately 21 feet high. I'll attest to that. And over 2,100 feet long. Ooh, that's about look how far down that is. That's closing in on about a half-mile long. Covers over 43,000 square feet. Portsmouth Murals Incorporated is a private, non-profit, all-volunteer organization. Great work. Let's check out the very first one. View of the Portsmouth area 2,000 years ago. Man, it's a long time ago. Depicting some Native Americans here on a frosty winter along the Ohio River. This is depicting the Shawnee village of 1730. Build a fire, my friends. It's gonna be a long winter. And here's where the trouble began for 'em. This is a French general, comes across, probably trying to take their land for a couple of shiny beads. Don't fall for it, my friends. Don't fall for it. There's an extended one here. This is showing, looks like early settlers' life along the Ohio River here in Portsmouth. Wow, that's loud behind me. We have a little fork in the road here. Flood wall will continue along that side of the murals. But along this other side, we do have a little bit of, oh, this must be the Stars of Portland. Vern Stevens, sounds like a heck of a doctor. Chief of Police, Teddy Wilborn. Miss Ohio. Not the Billy Graham, but another Billy Graham, and that goes on down there. And we're just on the opposite side of that hill. I was standing up on that levee up there earlier. Across the street, you just get a better view than being right up on top of it there. Original plate of Portsmouth, 1803. See how this goes on and on. It's kind of cool here too. I like how they use that building there to make it look part of a construction. But there is apparently an audio tour, you can tell, that will explain each one of these different murals you'll see here. And they're spotted along, like where you see that couple there. You'll find them every couple 100 yards or 100 yards or less. You'll have some ghost signage here. Now, not too far away from it, there is a restaurant here called The River. Not gonna go there today, but oh man, if you want a good steak, get over to The River. Trust me, you won't regret it. Kind of reminds me of Buckeye Furnace. I visited, I guess that was a year ago now. The Ohio and Erie Canal ran from 1825 to 1913. 1913 was the year of the Great Flood that kind of put an end to it. That and the prolificity of trains after that point. Like a little, was that maybe a Civil War battle? I don't know history of any Civil War battles here, but it seems like that's what we're suggesting there with the time frame and the uniforms of them soldiers. This must be all the different churches that are raging. Let's get across and take a closer look at that. Showing all these beautiful churches. Okay, that one's a little plain, but beautiful churches they had in their region here. All different denominations, a temple there. Methodist represented. Can't forget about the Baptist. Church of Christ. Methodist hidden again. Catholics have to have this great church here. And Presbyterians have to keep up with their Catholics, right? Another great church. Some of the fire departments of the area, the Hook and Ladder Company #1. Beautiful white horses. Some of the agriculture. Oh, and then there's the mighty steam engines that changed the face of the nation. Probably closing in on about the 1903 there. So closing in the first 100 years of this onto 1903. So about 1903, it looks like the city was really starting to grow here. See the community stretching out. And of course the center of town. Beautiful church. If I would have been paying more attention to the last mural, I could probably tell you which church that was. But this was taken from the Kentucky side, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Portsmouth. These from across the street were nice, but that light at this time of day has hit me a little weird. So New Boston, Ohio, Millbrook Park, early 1900s. Oh yeah. Little roller coaster action along the river. And if you look at this guy here, he looks a little mad. Why? He's doing all the work. What are these two guys doing? Oh, look, a fish. Get to work. Looks like baseball diamond up there too. Okay, the industry, and I saw something inside the visitor center. Apparently shoemaking was a big industry in Portsmouth, Ohio. Irving Drew Company, Shelby Shoes, Tremper Shoe Company. Wood Hills were the best. Yeah, it looks like that ran for over a century of shoe manufacturing. The Star Shoe Company, and of course Robert Bell. Why'd I say of course? I don't know. William Manufacturing, they're another shoe company. It's a lot of shoes coming from one small town. And yes, some of the NFL history started right here in Portsmouth. The Portsmouth team is remnants of it now would be the Detroit Lions, and they had the legendary Jim Thorpe was a player coach. So the Spartans of Portsmouth Spartans were admitted to the NFL in 1930, and the first night football game in the NFL was played between the Spartans and the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1930. The first NFL championship game and the first indoor football game was played in 1932 between the Spartans and the Chicago Bears. Maybe you heard of them. And they do have Dutch Clark is in the NFL Hall of Fame. Came to the Detroit Lions in 1934. Touchdown! Spartans beat the Packers. Shut them out, 19-0. I know some Packer fans that wouldn't be too happy with that, even after all these years to get over it. Man, this guy looks tough. That's a hard-nosed player right there. Here's one of the more famous local residents, Roy Rogers. I don't know if Trigger was from here, but Roy was. Roy Rogers and Trigger. Some of Portsmouth's favorite signs. We heard about the flood of 1937. That's what made him say, hey, we need to build a big flood wall, and you know, maybe 60 years after that, paint on it. And this is why. Okay? Your streets are for buses and cars and pedestrians. You don't want rowboats going down your main street unless you're Venice, and I don't think Portsmouth was trying to become the next Venice. I mean, people had to get onto their roofs. Water was raising so high just to be saved. Another famous man from the area is Branch Rickey. Okay, Branch was a general manager for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he's most famous for integrating, yeah, you know what I mean, Major League Baseball by signing Jackie Robinson. Turned out to be a great move because Jackie was one heck of a player. It's way overdue. It worked out pretty well for him. Looks like Branch had a connection with the Portsmouth Redbirds. I'm not familiar with them. I'll have to look into that. Oh, it looks like Fast Times on Chillicothe Street here. It's rumbling and rocking. It's the nightlife. You got Sears Roebucks. You got co-backers. You got Martins. You need it, they got it right downtown. You know they got shoe stores. They build all the shoes right here in town. Hotel Hearth, that's a place to go. Okay, and if you want to get out of the flood walls, hey, you can hop right up here and climb out. And we saw a lot of the manufacturing in town here, and the steel mills, and all the hard working and labor and production that was created in Portsmouth for over a century. What's more important when you have all these shoe stores than to have shoelaces? You're wondering where the first motorcycle club was in the U.S.? Right here in Portsmouth, Ohio, 1893. These are some tough characters. You can tell by looking at them. Looks like we're coming up to the end of the wall here. Nice little walk. Camp Molly Lawman. Good place to get some cookies. Scioto County Fair. County fairs are always fun, especially the Tilt-A-Whirl. And if I had to pick, that's the one that's gonna get sick. Don't sit next to him. 5-cent hamburgers, I could go for that. Sunset at the Point. Look at the beautiful bridge there with the barge crossing the Ohio River into Kentucky. Are these some other, I don't know what this is. Sister cities, okay. Corby, England. Veracruz, Mexico is a sister city. Nice mountain. Saxony, Germany. And we've reached the end of the flood wall. Beautiful depiction of the bridge going over. Let's say we made it. We made it all the way down there to here. Biggest flood wall I've seen today. Across from the flood wall, we have this, which appears to be dedicated to baseball legends that I assume are from the area. Branch Rickey, we talked about a little bit. Al Birdwell, I'm not that familiar with. Rocky Nelson. Al Oliver, I believe he won a batting title or two. Boo! Nah, he's probably a good umpire. Put me in, coach. Gotta cross the street, get a little better look at this. Got a couple on top. A couple other names. Gene Tennis, he was a big star of the 1972 World Series. Pat Borders, yeah, I remember him as a catcher. Larry Heisel. Let me tell you something about Larry Heisel. His son, Larry Heisel Jr., played basketball for Wisconsin and then transferred to University of Dayton. He was a flyer. Stan Spence, Johnny Stevenson. Looks like this is a good area for catchers. Don Gullett, he was a great pitcher for the Reds. Big Red Machine, probably the best pitcher they had. And looks like they got a little room to add the next future Portsmouth baseball star. Gonna do it for the toll road here in Portsmouth, Ohio. And downtown Portsmouth. Do you know? Ohio River. Catfish. Do you know? Who knows where the toll road will lead to next?